What's happening, family? David here. A quick impromptu episode of the Scrutineering Room for you guys tonight. And it happens to do with a piece I did earlier this week. On Tuesday, I uploaded a piece on MotoGP previewing their upcoming 2024 season. And I need to make a correction to that piece in addition with a very big announcement we heard on Thursday. In the piece, I mentioned NBC Sports. They have been broadcasting MotoGP for the last 4 seasons. At the start of the contract, they were broadcasting between NBC and NBCSN with a good little mix of live coverage in between. But after NBCSN closed down shop, after 2021, they moved most of the coverage to CNBC with some NBC spots here and there, and a very, very, very limited amount of live coverage of races. That culminated in 2023, where only one race was shown live, which was the Circuit of the Americas round, and even that was shown on CNBC and not on NBC proper. And that left a black eye for a lot of niche motorcycle fans who were starving for some decent coverage of their favorite motorsports. And one of the biggest critiques of NBC was they only show the MotoGP main class race, and that was it. If you wanted to see anything else on MotoGP, you had to subscribe to MotoGP Video Pass, which is the paid subscription service provided by the championship itself. Well, today we got some news on the future of MotoGP, and it's changing hands, and I think for the better. Dorna, the promoter of MotoGP, announced today they have reached an agreement with TNT Sports, the sporting arm of Warner Brothers Discovery, or WBD. They will broadcast both the Saturday Sprint and the Sunday race live on linear television throughout the entirety of the season. And for motorcycle fans, this is a huge hallelujah moment. Motorcycle fans have been starving for the last few years for live coverage of motorcycle anything that is not streaming, especially behind a paywall. The deal didn't give too many details. They did say True TV will be very involved in MotoGP coverage. It did not confirm if True TV will be covering this weekend's opening round in Qatar. It did not specify if any other networks that are under the WBD umbrella, such as TNT, TBS, if they will cover any of the races either. However, for those of you all who may have MotoGP Video Pass, I have some news for you. Max, the streaming service of WBD, will be streaming every session of the weekend, including Moto2 and Moto3 coverage this year through Bleacher Report, which is going to be the sporting section of the Max streaming service. And that is another huge win, especially right now where Max is not charging customers extra for that sporting tier as initially thought. They will bring it back in somewhere along the line, but for now it is included in your Max subscription. So for motorcycle fans, it's not perfect, but this is a very positive step forward. Especially now you get 2 live races every weekend over the course of the 21 round season. First time since 2019 that the entire MotoGP season will be shown live here in the USA. That was a very big aspect of when they were with beIN Sports, which was owned by the Qatari-based Al Jazeera Media Group, when they had the US MotoGP rights before the turn of the 2020s. So a very big day, I'll say a pretty positive day for MotoGP and American motorcycle fans in general, as TNT Sports will take over the reins of covering MotoGP in the US from NBC Sports. The only two things I have about it is, I hope the TV schedule is put together very well. I hope, in addition to True TV, I hope we do see a little bit more of TBS. Hope we do see a little bit of TNT, because those are the wider spread channels of WBD. I think putting those races, and it doesn't have to be the majority, give TBS, give TNT 3 or 4 races apiece, and then give True TV the rest. I don't see why that wouldn't be too big of a challenge. You already got TNT and TBS with Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA. I understand they got to get their seasons done. You got March Madness, so March, April, May, June may not be the best time, but maybe around July, August, when those series have hit their low, give them a couple of races, put them on TBS and TNT to kind of up in the profile of MotoGP. The second thing that kind of does get me a little off is, why did Dorna wait so long to get this deal done? Was it a case of they were trying to wait on NBC because they saw them as a place that had so many eyes and had so many more homes that they liked the exposure they were getting, I guess? Did NBC drag their feet when Dorna wanted to stay with them? And was Warner Brothers Discovery essentially the last option they had, or the next best thing? We'll see what kind of details, if any, come out in the coming days about this. But again, I can't help but to get a little bit more positive and to get a little bit more hyped up that here we are. We finally have a new deal for MotoGP. We hopefully will know where everything's going to be watched pretty soon. But it's definitely a much better place. Now that we know where we're going to be able to watch, or at least which brand will have the races, and we know that we'll be able to see them live in person, because as we know, live sports on television in this day and age is very much king. Racing and there you have it, guys. A quick impromptu show about TNT Sports taking over the rights to MotoGP here in the US starting this weekend in Qatar. Again, stay tuned for more news, especially on your social media channels as things get passed down. Still very fresh, still very new. The announcement so fresh they didn't even drop a schedule. But again, some pretty positive news for the MotoGP, for the American motorcycle community. And I hope you guys tune in to TNT, give them their support. And also, if you want to get a little bit more, get that max subscription. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I'm David. This has been the Scrutineering Room, super impromptu and brief edition. I'll see you next time here on the channel. Like, subscribe, comment, share this thing. If you do so, feel free. Until next time, keep a smile on your face, folks. You look much better when you have one. So long, everyone.